Is up, Facebook. Now, I'm here to address something that I have been told recently, or that came across my way as far as knowledge goes here over the last 24 hours. And I do apologize that I had to readjust my ring light because it's literally the only one I got. But over the last few days, I was made aware of something over like the last 24 hours or so. Apparently, this guy, William Gloryhole, who thinks he knows me, who's been harassing me for like 6+ years, thinks that he's a master of music all of a sudden. And all I have to say to that is this. William, you and your friends will never be true masters of your craft. You will never be true masters in the art of music. And there's a very good reason as to why. There's a very good reason as why. See, you guys are in music for the wrong reasons. You guys are in music to one-up me, to try to prove that I'm not as good as you guys claim. You guys are in it because you want to try to prove something to me, that you're better than me in every way. And, you know, I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to music. But here's the thing. Your little rules are just that. They are bullshit-ass rules. See, a true master of music, like myself, does not follow rules. I have no path, no rules, nothing keeping me bound to the world, the modern world's, supposed rules on music. I don't follow society or the modern day rules. I follow the rules of the old, which are that there are no rules when it comes to music, making me a true musical genius. And I have been told this by many people that are legitimate music artists, people that are legit musicians. I even got told by the bassist who I'm good friends with from one of my favorite bands, Sublime, that I actually am a true master of my craft. And if you're wondering how I met him, a now former friend of mine introduced us. So if the bassist of one of my favorite bands, Sublime, sees the true mastery in what I'm doing, who is a legitimate legend, by the way, if he sees the mastery in what I'm doing, then obviously I'm doing something right. Because, see, too many musicians and music artists out here follow these stupid rules of, oh, it has to be in that key, or this is the proper way to do this is the proper way to do that, which holds them back. Because, see, when you're freed from your confines of rules of music, that's when you are truly free to explore, experiment, create in ways that nobody has ever done before. Which is why I have literally created whole genres of music within my time span of over 12 years of doing music. I have created whole ass new genres of music that nobody can ever touch. I am literally the master of all styles of music. I am the master of combining styles that normally would not work. I am able to take any style that you give me, whether it's jazz, hip-hop, blues, whatever that style may be, and I am able to sit there and combine it with a complete opposite genre of music that would never work, and I make it work. That is what a true master of music, who has a true understanding of music and how it works on a base level. That's what somebody like me is able to achieve. Because unlike you guys, I don't study the greats to try to copy them. I study the greats to understand their mindset, where their mind was at when they created these amazing pieces that are out there today. I studied everybody from Beethoven, Johann Sebastian Bach, all the way up to the latest and greatest bands that this world has ever seen, like Black Sabbath, Black Veil Brides, Ozzy Osbourne, Beach Boys, Elvis Presley, Five Finger Death Punch, Led Zeppelin, Megadeth. Even guys like Alan Jackson, Dirk Bentley, Lone Star, Billy Gilman, Ryan Upchurch. I have studied every legend in every genre of music, whether it's in rock, dubstep, EDM, classical, you name it. I have studied every ounce of music history that there is to study. Not to copy their style, but to learn from them, to learn from the masters themselves, to learn from the people that paved the way for bands and artists that are out there today. Because see, without guys like Johnny Cash, we wouldn't have guys like Blake Shelton. We wouldn't have bands like Lone Star, Dixie Chicks, Rascal Flatts. We wouldn't have artists like Toby Keith, Brooks and Dunn. We wouldn't have artists out there like that. We wouldn't have artists like Ryan Upchurch, Adam Calhoun. We wouldn't have artists out there if it wasn't for guys like Elvis Presley. We wouldn't have guys like Led Zeppelin, Ozzy Osbourne. We wouldn't have guys like Metallica, Megadeth, Lorna Shore, Suicide Silence, Linkin Park, Asking Alexandria. And if it wasn't for guys like Bobby Brown, we wouldn't have the jazz artists that we have today. If it wasn't for guys like Johann Sebastian Bach, Beethoven, we wouldn't have amazing violinists like Lindsey Sterling. If it wasn't for original artists over in the UK who invented dubstep, who literally invented the genre of dubstep, if it was not for those classic guys in the 80s and the 90s creating that genre, we wouldn't have guys like Kill the Noise, Skrillex, Scourge, Alice in Wonderland. We wouldn't have guys like that. If it wasn't for guys like the Beastie Boys, we wouldn't have guys out there, like I said, like Ryan Upchurch. Once again, we wouldn't have guys like Eminem. We wouldn't have guys like Dr. Dre, 50 Cent. We wouldn't have guys like Bubba K. We wouldn't have guys like Bubba Sparks. We wouldn't have guys like Crucifix. We wouldn't have artists like Nathan James. We wouldn't have artists like Youngblood, Lil Wayne. We wouldn't have any of the artists that are out there today if it was not for the legends that came before them. See, I studied every genre and every style of music that there is to study. But you guys, you have not once studied any of the masters of music. You have not studied any of the legends. You have not sat down and honed your craft as I have. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for Beastie Boys, we wouldn't have Linkin Park, because we wouldn't have guys like Mike Shinoda, who honestly is one of the best producers, and in my honest opinion, one of the best rappers of all time. One of the greatest of all time. I would dare say he is literally up there on the same level as Eminem. He is up there on that level. He has earned that spot, rightfully so. And I'm not saying that just because Linkin Park is one of my top favorite bands. No, I'm saying that as a genuine artist, Mike by himself, he is on the level of Eminem. He is a legend in his own right. He is up on that level. And you know, if it wasn't for guys like Michael Jackson, we wouldn't have pop bands like Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. We wouldn't have artists, you know, and unfortunately, God rest his soul, massive RIP to this man, but we wouldn't have had guys like Aaron Carter. We wouldn't have guys like the Jonas Brothers. We wouldn't have bands out there in rock because of bands like Led Zeppelin. We wouldn't have bands out there like Blink-182. We wouldn't have bands like My Chemical Romance. We wouldn't have bands out there such as AFI, Marilyn Manson. We wouldn't have these artists out there that are out there today if it wasn't for the legends. So yes, I am a true, unmatched master of my craft. You guys can sit there and say whatever you want, but the fact remains, I am out here doing stuff that you guys only wish you could do on my level. Because see, I don't follow the confines of society's rule when it comes to music. I don't believe in studying music in a classroom and, you know, studying scales. No, I don't believe in that. I believe that if you're going to do music and you want to truly do it, you need to free yourself from those confines of music that are holding you back. The truest way of learning how to do music is experimentation. Figuring it out on your own. Without anybody telling you, oh, you're doing this right or you're doing this wrong. The truest form of creation is not having any rules to begin with. Because if you have rules, they're trying to confine you to a box and try to be what's popular in that box. But once you break free of that box and you step outside of that box, you are then free to create any style, any genre, any kind of music that you wish to create. Because once you step outside of that box, there are no rules. There are no limits. And that's what you trolls that bash on me fail to realize. You fail to realize those rules. So, William, I can tell you this. You've already lost the music battle to me. As always. You always lose to me because you don't follow the path that I follow. You follow a path of idiocracy. You follow a path of ignorance. You follow a path of stupidity. But me, I follow a path of true freedom. I follow a path of being lawless when it comes to music. I follow a path of not having any rules. Because when you don't have rules holding you back, you're free to explore. You're free to create in your own way. Therefore, William, your little musical duel that you were talking about doing, you've already lost before it's even begun. I am the true victor. Always have, always will be. So, William, you want to get on my level of being a true musical genius? Then stop following the rules. Step outside the box. Stop confining yourself. And third off, stop stealing what's mine. Follow your own path. Carve your own way. Stay in your own lane. And maybe then, once you get on my level, maybe then I'll respect you. But until then, I have absolutely zero respect for you. Do better, William. Because like I said, you're looking at a musical genius and master of my craft. So, and good luck catching up. This match was already over before it even began.